In today's episode, we'll be following Antonio Esfandiari on Party Poker Premier League. The buy-in is $125,000 and the blinds are $4,000 and $8,000 and an ante of $1,000. The action starts when Esfandiari picks up aces and raises to $18,000. He gets called from Negreanu on the cutoff, the small and big fold. On the flop, there's two big cards on the board, and besides a straight draw, there's a couple of gutshot draws. Now, Antonio can easily think that he has the best hand, because if Daniel has pocket jacks or kings, he'll raise pre-flop. So besides king-jack or a set of fours, Antonio can continue betting. Antonio makes a bet of $26,000 on a $56,000 pot, which is a standard continuation bet on this type of board, whether he has a big hand or not. Negreanu raises to $62,000, which is a bit more than a min raise, and now it's back to Antonio. Now it seems that if Daniel has a king, a jack, or a gut shot, he might just call. On the other hand, Daniel can raise with a king-queen, queen-10, two pair, a set of fours, or even air. And if Antonio re-raises, Daniel will probably fold with a one-pair hand or air. He'll probably call with queen-10, but probably re-raise with two pair or a set of fours. So it looks like a better choice for Antonio is to just call, disguise his big hand, avoid a re-raise, and wait for another bet from Daniel, where the only cards that might make him a bit nervous are a king, queen, jack, and a 9. On the turn, a 10 of clubs shows up. Antonio checks while he continues disguising his hand, and Daniel decides to check behind. Now it looks like by checking Daniel doesn't have a king, but he might be connected with the 10 in some way, because if the 10 gave him a big hand, or he still has air, he'll probably bet. But since he checked, he might have a hand like queen-10, for example. On the river, a king of clubs shows up. Antonio thinks that Daniel probably doesn't have a king and probably has no clubs either. He can still check, but if he ends up facing a big bet from Daniel, it's going to be hard for him to call, because even if Daniel did check on the turn, it's not 100% certain that he doesn't have a king or clubs. At this point, it seems that Antonio's thinking he has the best hand, and it's better to bet and try to get a call from a hand like queen-jack or maybe queen-10, because with those hands, Daniel will check behind anyway. On the other hand, if Antonio gets raised, he'll probably have to fold, because even though he can easily represent a king after calling Daniel's raise on the flop, if he still gets raised, Daniel probably has a big hand. So it looks like that a small bet is a good option here. With that, Antonio bet $55,000 on a $180,000 pot, which is a very thin bet and more of a blocking bet than a value bet, that maybe will make Daniel call with a one-pair hand. Daniel folded immediately after missing his up and down straight on the turn.